What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. I hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. So, Drake versus Kendrick Lamar is the most impactful and significant hip hop beef in hip hop history, right? Now, I'm only 31 years old, so if you beg to differ, if you feel different, leave your comments in the comment section below and enlighten me, right? Um, Pac versus Big, I was too young to really live that in present day. As I was alive, but I was too young to really take in what was going on. Jay and Nas, I really took that in because I was around my uncles and my cousins and my brother who was really invested in that. I was able to live and see the Locks versus State Property, 50 versus Ja, Tip versus Flip, Gucci Mane versus Jeezy, all of these rap beefs. But this one right here was culturally significant because this beef right here, we saw a rapper call out another rapper's usage of black culture without having to stand next to black culture during times of despair and during times of grief, etc. Right? And he didn't specifically say it like this, but he hinted at when I'm talking about the black with standing next to us during grief and all of that. Right? But he called him out as a culture vulture. Kendrick Lamar called Drake out as a culture vulture. Right? And yes, Drake is a man who has a black father. He's half black, and some people just say you black, right? Because some brothers say, look, you got a black parent, you black. Some people feel like, oh, you're biracial. We have these distinctions now that back in the day there weren't distinctions for really. Everybody like you got a black parent, you black, right? But yeah, it called out like, yo, and it's something that even as a fan of Drake's music, I had talked about for years. Him using street rappers like 21 Savage and Lil Durk and 600 Breezy in Chicago and standing next to the Game and Future and Young Thug, etc. for these looks and the street credibility. But when things were happening to black folks that came from neighborhoods like 21 Savage neighborhood, Lil Durk neighborhood, Young Thug's neighborhood, etc. When things were happening to these black men at the hand of law enforcement, Drake was nowhere to be found about these issues. He didn't talk about it. He didn't speak on these issues, none of the sort, right? And I knew people were going to say, well, he's a Canadian guy. He's not from black American culture. And if he misspoke, you all would chastise him for it. But I'm like, yo, you can hire a publicist that can say the perfect thing for you. You're Drake. I'm not saying you got to put it in your music, but he has enough money to speak on a lot of these issues. And in this battle, Kendrick Lamar like, yo, wait a second. You're using these Atlanta rappers and all these other street rappers for certain credibility for your look and for your, to build up your credibility for a certain imagery in your music. You know what I mean? But you're not standing next to them in times of despair and all of that, And it was ironic because Drake came into the rap game as a backpack rapper initially, but would not do records with anybody that's really labeled as conscious outside of J. Cole or artists who already had a super mega big following. Now he collaborated with Kendrick Lamar early in Kendrick's career during Good Kid, Mad City. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. But other than that, he would only try to stand next to Cole. That was the only conscious type artist he would stand next to. Even though Fonte of Little Brother is named as his favorite rapper. They're like, yo, why you never tried to pull up Fonte or any of these other backpack rappers when you hit it big and when you made it to be the guy in hip hop? You know what I mean? So it called out something that I feel like a lot of people probably should have saw a long time ago, and that's me being a fan of Drake's music, right? Also, it gave us certain realizations about some of our favorites. The realization I just said about Drake and the realization about Wayne. Something that I think should have been called out a long time ago. But it didn't really get called out in the way I wanted it to get called out until we saw people upset that Kendrick Lamar was performing at the Super Bowl. So they tried to say, well, it's in New Orleans. It should be about Wayne. And I promise you, if it wasn't Kendrick Lamar performing, nobody would be hollering and screaming for Wayne. If Chris Brown was performing at the halftime show, Rihanna, if it was Beyonce, nobody would be upset. They were upset because it was Kendrick Lamar. And it had YouTube content creators like myself saying, I don't give a damn about Wayne feeling a way about it. I don't care that Wayne ain't performing. I don't feel any empathy or sympathy for him because he has thrown black people under the bus for years. He has been a horseshoe raccoon for years, right? He tried to deny racism existence because he has an array of fans who are of different ethnicity, which is stupid. He's tried to downplay the Black Lives Matter movement, not the organization. I state that difference because a lot of anti-black conservatives say, well, that organization stole money. Black people didn't have no fucking alliance to the organization. We had an alliance. We had a alliance with the movement. Yo, black people are being black people are having their lives taken unjustly at the hands of law enforcement when they are unarmed. This is wrong. And that was what we connected to. The sentiment, the movement, not the organization, right? And so you had people finally calling out Wayne and putting his feet to the fire for certain things that he said and done that are anti-black. For sure. Even using Emmett Till as a punchline and talking about he beat that PUSSY up like Emmett Till, which is fucking disgusting and disrespectful as hell. And people were finally calling him out for it. And it hurt some people because Wayne is their favorite, but he should have been called out for a lot of these things a long time ago, right? So the impact of that. This beef brought us great quality music. I should have started off with that, right? It had people really listening. People, when I say people, I'm 31, but kids younger than me really paying attention to lyrics. Now, again, there are kids younger than me that paid attention to lyrics the whole time, but there are a nice amount of them that did not, right? And so you had people really listening and trying to decipher lyrics and trying to understand meanings behind certain things. And again, Kendrick bodied Drake in this battle, but Push Us was a really good song to me. Family Matters was a really good track. It was a dope track. Kendrick just bodied it. You know what I mean? And so we had great music where kids were like, younger people were like, yo, let me listen to these lyrics. Okay, let me see what they really paying attention to lyrics, to flows, to cadence, all of these things that are important in hip hop culture. Younger people were paying attention to. Hell, even older people, older demographic that probably stepped away from hip hop a while ago, or not stepped away, but they were probably still just listening to what they grew up listening to rather than new hip hop. They put their ear closer to the culture once again, which I think is important, man. We need all demographics in listening to the music. You know, I like all demographics listening to hip hop music, especially things that are going on currently and seeing what they like, etc. So I felt like that was important. Then even in the beef, we got an album. Well, first of all, we got Kendrick Lamar to do something that people thought he couldn't do. He went and made bops. You feel me? Even Not Like Us, but then even on the album, you got TV Off, you got Squabble Up, right? You got the joint with SZA, Luther. You know what I mean? He had other songs he can perform at the Super Bowl outside of Not Like Us, because everybody be like, all he got is Not Like Us. All the Kendrick Lamar haters or whatever. That's not all he has. In fact, he gave y'all new joints that he could perform and still shut it down at the Super Bowl, right? Also, the GNX album took it back to like the importance of regional sounds. And like the whole album feels West Coast, LA, all the way. And I think at times you don't have to do it every album, but it's important for artists to do that, to pay homage to where they come from, and connect to the fan base that probably first got them their notoriety, and also to introduce sounds to people that maybe would never be listening to this sound for real. Kendrick put on a lot of artists from his area, from LA and all that, put them on the album to give them notoriety. That's important. You know what I mean? Like if a Chicago artist, if Kanye were to do an album that sounds straight Chicago crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like that would have been like crazy, especially at his height, because I don't be on Kanye. I don't really fuck with Kanye no more. I really don't. But you know, during the time I really was rocking with him, like, yeah, that would have been extremely dope to see. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. But yeah, I think, and yeah, this beef led to Kendrick Lamar stepping out and doing something that he wouldn't normally do. Not probably about it. He wouldn't normally do. making certain type of songs and bops and anthems. And it's like, yo, and he's having fun. He had fun all on his GNX album, I can tell. And it was quality product. You got people really like, yo, people that I know didn't really listen to Kendrick Lamar vibing out to this album and saying, damn, I got to go back and listen to some other stuff. Yo, I got to pay attention to what he's doing, right? And also, man, this beef, hey, it made the YouTube community pop. I got 10,000 subscribers based around the content that I was making around Kendrick Lamar and Drake and Kendrick Lamar and Lil Wayne and the Super Bowl. I got to 10,000 based upon a video I did about me not feeling bad for Lil Wayne not getting the Super Bowl performance. And I got 26,000 views on that video. You know what I mean? And YouTubers started their channels. People started their channels based upon this beef and started reacting to the songs and videos and, you know, making content around it. And content creators just blew up through the roof through this, man. So the content creation world has a lot. We have a lot to thank Kendrick Lamar and Drake for, because this beef helped to propel a lot of channels. You know what I mean? So this beef is so impactful on many different levels, but I just wanted to cover the bases with those. And it is the most important hip hop beef in history. To me, I could be wrong. I'm young. Y'all let me know.